What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman. I'm here with Football with Oz Austin for episode 17 of Against the Blitz. And I am back and excited to be doing this episode because we're doing a mock draft, our first iteration. And my personal first one, as crazy as that might sound. So I'm really excited to put some time into this and see how Austin interprets the first round of the draft, because the way we're structuring it is he's taking the even selections, I'm taking the odds. So it's like you have some control, but you don't. And I'm really excited to do this one because this is just so fun. This is like one of the best times of the year.
I know, and I've been doing mocks since like Thanksgiving. So to finally have an idea of what we're looking at, like free agency's pretty much wrapped up. There's like Brandon Scherf and then a bunch of practice squad guys available. So this is pretty much it. Like we kind of have an idea of what teams are going to do. So I am this is my bread and butter. I am so excited.
All right, here we go. This is go right into it, right?
Kind of explain my thought processes on these picks. So at least for the first few, I'm going to try and be a little bit more predictive than what I would do, because what I would do would be a lot different than like what a lot of these teams are going to end up doing. But part of a mock draft is to try and guess and predict like what they're going to do. So if some of the picks seem a little bit questionable, it's because I think that those GMs are a little bit questionable. It's not exactly what I would do.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was trying to do it when I ran through it myself predictably, but I don't know. It's just so hard not to let.
There we go.
It's so hard not to let your personal opinion leak in a little bit.
I know. And it will a little bit. And like I'll explain any of those, but for the first few, I'm gonna try and be as chalk as possible.
All right. Well, let's do it. So I'm the odds. I'll start it off. As much as I don't think at first overall that honestly, I don't think Cam Ward is worth it. I don't think he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but is he a first overall franchise quarterback? You know, that's where I beg to differ, but all signs point to Tennessee taking him. I'm not going to do what I did last year and completely ignore all of the noise that said that the Commanders were taking Jaden Daniels second over Drake May, and I just ignored all the noise because I just couldn't fathom it. And he ended up getting selected instead. And I felt like a moron for completely missing that. So I'm not going to do that this time around. And we are going to be taking Cam Ward with the first overall pick.
It's the only pick that makes sense at this point, considering they have like Will Levis and Brandon Allen as their only quarterback. So unless they plan to make a change, and it doesn't sound like they will, that's really the only pick unless they trade back. Because quarterbacks, whether you like it or not, have to get picked high. And now we're looking at the Cleveland Browns. Does anybody want to trade up to 2? I'm going to ask that first.
Me.
Got on there? Who wants to trade up?
I die.
The New Orleans Saints?
I don't know.
Do they need a quarterback of the future? Do they need to trade Derek Carr and up that cap?
I tried to find a partner for 2, but like we were talking about before the show, I had a very hard time finding anyone that was interested in jumping up, and that's across the board. Like I just don't think outside of, the first few selections, which of course we're in right now, I'm not sure anyone can afford it, and I'm not sure anyone really wants to. So for now, I think the Browns are stuck at 2. You got to make this extremely tough decision.
I mean, at this point, I think that Cleveland goes quarterback. I think that they are going Shedeur Sanders. I was mocking Abdul Carter to them for like the past few months, but after actually extending Myles Garrett, I think that having a quarterback other than Kenny Pickett as your quarterback is the only thing that can bring the fans hope. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing the fans a sliver of hope.
Well, that's kind of my thing too. It's like, you want to bring some sort of attention to Cleveland, and bringing the Sanders family into this city that is feeling, very kicked to the side. There's not a lot of spotlight on them. Like this is a good way to bring, whether it ends up being negative or positive attention, something to be excited about for Cleveland, and not just because he's a quarterback, but because he's a Sanders. So
right.
That I think actually is a positive, but like you said, it just feels like they have no choice but to take but to take a quarterback until they go and get Russell Wilson, or until, I mean, God knows if Kirk Cousins and that how that situation plays out.
Yeah.
But at this stage, it feels like they have no choice. There really is no noise as far as who they're talking to veteran wise. They talked to Russell Wilson like last week, but nothing seemed to come of that. They also just talked to Carson Wentz today. I don't know. I don't know how to interpret these rumors. So I think you're making the right choice. As far as what we know now, you got to go with the quarterback. So that brings us to the third pick. And Shedeur is currently the hot selection for the Giants at 3. And obviously he's gone now, but it's between Abdul and Travis, right? And I'm having such a hard time leaving Abdul out of the top 3 because he's a guy that people were thinking could go 1 just like a month ago. And I want to take him, but I just can't think of a scenario where they pass on a weapon after these past few years struggling to have any. They have Neighbors, but they don't have a tight end. The running back room they don't really have a stud there. I mean, there just is nothing. So, and if there's one bright spot with New York right now, it's kind of their defensive front. You know, they paid for Brian Burns not too long ago. Kayvon Thibodeau kind of is a little bit of a annoying kind of prick in their side, but he's still, I guess, decent. They have Dexter. So I felt like they have to go Travis, and they're going to play him at wide receiver. It just feels like the right thing to do for New York.
Yeah. And he can play corner too. And they do they have Cordell Flott still getting like a lot of reps at corner. Like they can use a third if for whatever reason they need it. So I love him there. That's probably who I would have picked too. But I mean, New England, we are grateful for Abdul Carter to fall into our lap at 4. And I think it would be unwise to pick anyone else here for Mike Vrabel and his defense. So we are bringing pass rush back to New England for the first time since like Rob Ninkovich. So let's get it done.
Yeah, that was, that's the obvious pick. When I went through this myself, this is how the top 4 went so far. So I have not been thrown off track yet. I'm waiting for the curveball.
All right.
At 5, it's the popular choice right now to go Mason Graham for Jacksonville. I think you could entertain the conversation of McMillan here, but I mean, their interior defensive line is just so atrocious. I mean, who do they have over there right now? Like
Devon Hamilton, Mason Smith, Jordan Jefferson. No, I mean, nah.
Jacksonville used to be a team that dominated on the defensive line, and I think they got to get back to those days. So I'm gonna stick with the popular selection and ride the coattails of Mason Graham here.
That's the only pick in my opinion. He's so good. And I think he weighed in a little light at the combine so he could test well. I think he got hurt, so he didn't test anyways. But he's gonna weigh like 310 to 315 and just dominate everyone. That's a good pick. They need him. But that puts the Raiders in a weird spot because they don't have a ton of glaring needs outside of like a couple weapons probably, and then they could probably fix up their O-line, and that might actually be what we're gonna do. I think that we're going to go with Armand Membu.
Oh wow!
Currently at right tackle they have Delmar Glaze, so I think that getting a right tackle with guard flexibility is going to be really important for like any Pete Carroll offense. Like we want to run the ball, obviously, but to do that, you need a line. So we're getting a guy I value as a top 10 pick, Armand Membu.
Over Campbell. I
don't like Campbell to play right tackle.
Okay.
And I think they need a right. I like Colton Miller at left tackle. And I think their guards are okay. We just need a right. And that's what he is to me.
Alex Kappa, your fan favorite.
Oh my God.
They're gonna have to throw DJ Glaze inside. They're gonna have to.
They will. I think he will.
Well, with that said, Armand Membu, when in my mock, was the Jets selection. So
that makes sense.
The first wrench, but I'm still going to stick with them going on the offensive line. I mean, this is a team that is going to prioritize running the ball a ton. So you're going to want to be beefy up there as much as you can. It's really as simple as choosing who a lot of people view as the best offensive lineman in the draft. So I have them going with Will Campbell. It's
Mm.
basically that simple.
Is that at guard or is that playing one of the tackle spots?
I mean, it depends, right? I think you end up moving him. I think you probably keep him at tackle. I do think he still is going to be. I know there's some concerns with his length and whatever, but I think he's athletic enough to stay outside.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a guy that you can obviously plug and play anywhere. So
Yeah.
that's what the Jets really need, basically, is somebody that they can throw in there and be confident in, and that's what they got. So
Yeah. All right. Will Campbell. All right. That makes Carolina's board intriguing. They kind of have still everything that they needed, which kind of just feels like pass rush or weapons. Is kind of everything Carolina's needed. They do play a pretty attacking style defense, but their run defense was terrible last year. So they probably will need a guy that is a freak athlete and a run defender. So we'll go with Shamar Stewart, edge rusher out of Texas A&M, who
damn it.
could definitely develop as a pass rusher, but right now will immediately help the rest of their run defense. So I actually would love the way that their defense looks if they can get him on their team.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart. I don't know. Like I don't know if he's going to go that high. I'm concerned that people are worried about this. The general managers are worried about the semantics about his production. But I mean, at the same time, this is such a muddy edge rusher class outside of Carter. You can justify anybody being the second edge off the board, and I think he will be. Whether it's that soon, I guess, is soon to tell. But
yeah,
feels like Carolina absolutely needs. I mean, we've talked about it before. They need help there.
Anything. Yeah.
So I like that pick. At 9, that brings the Saints into the conversation. And with Paulson Adebo departing, Alante Taylor is now the starting outside defensive back. I know you could address the offensive line. I know that they have issues, with the interior defensive line as well. Brian Bressee's not been great. They have how do you say that guy's last name? Gadchuk.
Yeah, I've never known how to say it.
Devon Gadchuk or something.
Yeah.
So you could.
I don't know.
You could look in there, but I think with the departure of Paulson Adebo especially, and with Brandon Staley being a secondary guy, it feels like going with Will Johnson is the move to fill out that secondary.
I almost put him in Carolina, even though it's not even that big of a need. He's just the best player available there. So I have, they actually do badly need that too, though. So that's a really good pick. But that works for me. All right, Ben Johnson. Ashton Genty is yours, pal.
There you
go. I was mocking Will Campbell to them every time because they needed guards so bad. But now that they don't need guards anymore, and their tackles are fine, their defense is fine. Give them just the best weapon we've seen in a while.
Yeah, they have the luxury. It really comes down, I think, depending on how your mock goes, you could justify. I guess you could justify Kelvin Banks, maybe. I don't hate it. And it also depends on how you view that Deo. I can't say his last name either. What's with all these guys and their last names?
Deo, yeah.
How you view him, it's kind of there's a lot of reward there, but there's a lot of risk too. So I think you could justify an edge rusher here too, but ultimately it's a luxury selection. If he falls in your lap, I feel like it would be stupid knowing Ben Johnson too. He's going to pull the trigger on someone special like that. That said, that brings us to the Niners now and talk about a team that needs some help up front. This was kind of easy for me. If I was going to go Josh Simmons, but because of Kelvin Banks, I think his flexibility is going to be valued for them. I think he can be plugged in and be the guy that can be Trent Williams fill-in if he gets hurt, or a replacement, or he can help inside right away at left guard as well. So I went with Kelvin Banks for San Francisco.
All right. Brings us to Dallas. What did they do? I've looked at a lot of spots for them because they and actually almost all of their guys are kind of gone, like that I was kind of looking at them for. So at that point, when you kind of have all of your all your guys gone, you can kind of start to look best player available. And best player available for them, they are in need of run defense and they are in need of a weapon. So I'm in between two guys, but I'm actually going to give them Kenneth Grant, nose tackle from Michigan. He is an absolute freak athlete who is one of the best run defenders in the class, and they cannot keep running Mozzie Smith out there. Their run defense is so bad. I know they just re-signed Osa Odigizua, but like he's not a good run defender either. Like he's actually really bad at it. So they need a true nose tackle. Just take Kenneth Grant. It's not too difficult.
Did they end up giving him an extension, or is he still on the
track?
track?
It's like 4 years. It's a big extension. Like, wow. He's one of the top paid D tackles in the game now, which is wild.
Yeah. Dallas's offseason has been far from ideal. I mean, I don't think anyone it feels like someone that is really just not that hasn't paid attention to football in the last like 2 or 3 years is running the show, which is possible. Like Jerry Jones could very easily not have been watching.
Yeah.
So
that's very possible actually.
I don't know. I thought I was kind of in between with this pick like you were, but I ended up going in the mock I did. I went with McMillan. With the talks of Michael Gallup and him trying to make a return and the impact he had on that team, being that vertical threat, that high ball, that high jumping type of receiver, that type of athlete. I do think they're missing that. They need some sort of bigger body in that room. So, and Jake Ferguson, I mean, he kind of serves as that, but outside of him, like CeeDee's a smaller receiver. Jalen Tolbert's smaller. They have another Kevontae Turpin who is rolled out there occasionally. Like
he's tiny.
Like they're just small. So, but ultimately, the defensive line is quite frankly miserable. At least the weapons are serviceable.
Yeah.
Pick 13. This is a very popular Kelvin Banks spot too.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know. I think it would be irresponsible. Talk about it being irresponsible to not address interior defensive line for Dallas. I think it would be just as bad for Miami. Like I think they need help inside badly too. So I ended up going with, I'm going to end up going with Derek Harmon.
Oh,
and it might be slightly early for some people's liking, but I think they need help in there. Like right now, I think Jalen Phillips is listed as the interior, which I mean, obviously probably ideally wouldn't be the case. So
yeah,
I think they need help inside, and the offensive line for Miami, it's a problem, but I think it's made to be a bigger issue because of the injuries with Tua. And
yeah,
I get because you extended him, you're going to want to do what you can to protect him, keep him on the field, but they signed James Daniels already. Are you going to invest more on the inside? They brought back Liam Eichenberg, who not great, but he's your 1 week link, assuming Teron Armstead could stay on the field. And I think they just need help on the defensive line more than that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think they have like Zach Seiler and like, that's it from last year. Like Calais Campbell was humongous for them last year and is gone probably. I mean, he's like 40. So I assume he's gone. So like, yeah. That'd be a big pick for them. It's a reach like in terms of value, but I love Derek Harmon. I think that he absolutely should be worth a top 15 pick. So no problem with that. That brings me to Indianapolis. And they're a team, like one of those teams that doesn't have a ton of glaring needs, but they just have a few positions that desperately need an upgrade. So I'm going to go Tyler Warren. They haven't had a good tight end since Colby Fleener. Like they thought Eric Ebron was that guy, but he wasn't. So I think that we're going to go with Tyler Warren, who would help them in the run game, but also give AR a passing weapon.
I haven't heard the name Colby Fleener.
They got him and Dwayne Allen both in the 2012 draft. Yeah, that was crazy.
Didn't Eric Ebron have 3 rushing touchdowns or something?
Yeah, I think he did for Pittsburgh at least. Yeah, that dude was a beast for a little bit, for 10 days. Yeah,
I Warren's definitely, that feels like one of the slam dunks of this draft, assuming he's there.
Yeah, I've thought about Miami taking him, but I don't know. That's just a luxury pick for them. Yeah, the Colts actually would need him. They have Alec. I don't even know who their tight end right now. Ogletree maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like they lost Kylan Granson, Mo Alley Cox, like I think he's gone too. Like I don't know who they'd get. So Tyler Warren is going to be my slam dunk there.
I like it. So the Falcons are next. Oh man, the Falcons. Another team that needs some pass rush help. They signed Leonard Floyd, so that's something. I think they also do need help in the secondary, though. So that's kind of my dilemma. Man, what are your thoughts on Jahdae Barron? I don't think I've ever asked you.
Love him. Yeah, I think that he answered all of his questions in the combine. Like people thought he wasn't long enough, and he's like 5'11" with decent arms, and they thought he might have not great long speed, and he ran like a 4.3 something. Like he's a top 15 player of the draft for sure.
Yeah, I want to go with him, but it just feels like they need help so bad, and that's both on the inside and the outside. But at this point, I think you'd probably be reaching a little bit too much for anybody on the interior.
Yeah.
So that leaves me with edge rushers, and this is the position I just want to avoid as much as possible because, I mean, James Pierce is like a high school crash out. Apparently, Mike Green has like sexually assaulted multiple people,
allegedly.
Right? Sorry, Donovan Ezeraku. I know that's your guy, but it does feel slightly early for me. Then Michael Williams is a guy that is often mocked in this range. So, but it's like Atlanta. How do I strike Raheem Morris? Is he someone to just be like he's talented and I don't care, or does he care about the off the field?
Last year he drafted 2 developmental 3 techs in the same draft. He got Brandon Dorless and Ruka Rororo in the same draft. So I don't know. I feel like he likes to try and develop these guys, but. Like I think that he's like a height, weight, speed fan. Like he thinks he can turn him into something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I think, I think I'll be kind of boring, and I think I'm gonna. It's really between Ezeraku and Michael. I think in the back of my mind, I have come to the conclusion that Green and Pierce are falling.
Yeah,
top 20,
I think so.
Just
the trigger.
Just because you're my co-host. I'm going to go with this.
I love it. That's not even too early. I think that he'd be a good fit there too.
Yeah.
Like if they're running like any variation of like a 3-4 attacking style, I think that he would get 10 sacks a year minimum. But you Cardinals, I mean, McMillan's fallen a little bit, but they just have Marvin Harrison, who has like the exact same player profile as McMillan. So they don't need him. They could use DB. They could go line. And they did just go for Josh Sweat, which does help their edge a little bit. But I don't think it ever hurts to double dip. I really don't. And I think that they can get a guy that will help their front seven a lot. I think Michael Williams will help him a ton. I think that he can kind of be not Josh Sweat's replacement, but he can kind of be the counterpart to him. Like a really, really, really good big run defender and just have a good front seven. I think they need that. So
yeah,
it's kind of like a best edge available for them.
We know
that
John
doesn't have allegations.
Yeah, right, exactly. Doesn't have question marks about his character. John Gannon's, coming from Philadelphia, he is. We know what he likes. So definitely, I think
Georgia boys.
Yes, right. So defensive line will absolutely be, I think, their priority. And I did see some people, like you were kind of alluding to, suggesting wide receiver, and I didn't dislike that, but they just play so much 12 personnel.
Yeah.
So I guess you could justify it, but I think McBride and Harrison in 12 personnel are enough. Like what?
Yeah. I mean, and I thought about like a Matthew Golden maybe, but like because he is opposite of Harrison, but like it's like having DK and Pickens on the same offense. Like you need guys that are a little different, or else they're pretty easy to stop. So yeah, getting McMillan and I'm an idiot. Yeah. Who would pay them $30-something million a year to trade a second-round pick for that?
All right. I get your Bengals. This is exciting.
Be nice.
The Bengals. What do we do in Cincinnati?
I mean, actually,
you could just throw a dart at the board defensively, and I mean, even offensively, and you probably help this team.
Yeah, give me offensive line or like defense. Yeah, and there's no problem.
just literally close my eyes and click a button.
Yeah.
he could play.
Just not McMillan. Like, really, anyone else there would be pretty good.
Oh boy, I want to go on the defensive line, but after having both of Ezaraku and Michael gone, oh man, oh,
I mean, Mike Green would be an absolute dream if he didn't, attack anybody.
Right, and that would be Cincy's luck. The way that things have been going for defensive selections. Oh man, I mean,
I'd love that pick. Yeah,
he's been rising, and I kind of forgot about him. So I think Jalen Walker would probably be the move here. I know he's one of the most polarizing players in this draft, but he's been mocked as like the second edge rusher off the board for a lot of people. Yeah. So I'm going to listen to the hype a little bit.
Yeah, I think he fits the new D coordinator system a lot better. Mm-hmm. He's kind of the opposite of Lou Anarumo, so he loves just like an attacking style man coverage, but having like that little linebacker edge hybrid like him would actually bring like athleticism that we haven't had in a while. So I don't think I'd be too mad at that really at all, especially considering that like the other two edge rushers I want have really bad allegations against them, and like it's hard to pick them with that. So I'm not gonna. But yeah, I like those. I like those picks. So that brings me to Seattle?
Yes, sir.
That's actually not that hard. I know they have glaring issues, but they have like 3 day 2 picks that they can address the O-line with. So I'm going Tataroya and McMillan to the Seahawks and have McMillan, Cooper Kupp, and JSN as my receiver trio. I think he can be a better DK, like a better version of what DK was.
Yeah. I was going to do that too, but with Kubiak, like there's so much discourse around what Kubiak is going to do with this offense.
I have no idea.
Yeah. And if it's anything like what it was last year, it was a lot of 2 tight ends. So you sign Cooper Kupp and JSN, and like you pay Cooper Kupp, I mean, face value, at least from what we know, it's 3 for 45, right? So
that's if he plays all 3. Yeah.
So assuming that's what it is at face value, it's a pretty pricey price tag to have a guy that probably I would like to think won't be taking slot snaps from fucking JSN, but
you would think.
I guess who knows? So, man, I did actually have McMillan falling out of the top 10, but not this far. So I think he had to go at some point.
At this point, you just had to pick him up. Like you can address the O-line with your like multiple 2nd round picks and your 3rd round pick. Like there's plenty of value there. So yeah, I think they just had to get the best player available.
Yeah, I like that. And I mean, their defense is really, I'm not going to say filled out, but
good.
It's close enough to it.
Yeah, it looks good.
Tampa. They're always a weird team to mock for, but it always feels kind of easy at the same time. And I do think, oh man, Jahdae Barron is there.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's like Jahad Campbell is like the pick for Tampa, but I don't know. Can a Todd Bowles defense pass up on a versatile defensive back like Jahdae Barron because they need a linebacker? It's a tough question. Or even, James Pierce is somebody that people talk about going here too, and I feel like Todd Bowles doesn't really give a shit. But
no,
that guy couldn't care less. But oh man, Jahdae Barron or Jahad Campbell, man. This is a defense that does very much so rely on high-level linebacker play. Levante's old. I think Anthony Walker is their other guy. So I guess I'll be mainstream. I'll be regrettably mainstream.
That's like the only guy I ever have mocked there. So
yeah,
I don't dislike that at all.
Denver.
All right. Well, dang, Denver. I'm left with two options here, but I think I'm just gonna do a weird one. I've never mocked to them, but I'm gonna make this defense scarier. We're doing Jahdae Barron, and I don't actually know if I view him as like a true corner one, but as like a complimentary 2/ like nickel for them. That would be terrifying, actually, especially like considering they just got Dre Greenlaw, and their pass rush is good, and their DBs are crazy. Like having another DB, like we're trying to make a legion a Legion of Boom here in Denver. So I think that's just best player available. Like they can't pass that up.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I know running back is the big thing here, but yeah, Jahdae Barron. I do think Jahdae Barron goes. I mean, he probably does. He go before 20?
I think I honestly usually have him at Miami. Like I think that's how high he can go is 13. Like I think that he's that good, but he just fell because teams didn't need a corner.
Right. Man, I have a hard time not taking a receiver for Denver though.
It's hard, but I think they can find that value in the second or third. Like that's my mindset on it.
Oh man, I think I would go Ibuka if I was Denver. It feels like oh man, that's so tough. That's so tough.
Well, I thought about it. I thought about because they need a slot presence, but then I'm like, I think that's just what Evan Ingram's going to do for them.
Yeah.
Like I think that he's just going to be like that slot mismatch they wanted. Have Cortland Sutton and then like Marvin Mims out there. Like I think they need a running back truly, but
yeah,
I didn't want to reach on one.
That's true. You
so
think
like, you know what? Yeah,
Hampton's a reach there because that's popular.
Yeah, I love Hampton. I think that Genty is the only running back that should go in the first, though. I think that there's just so much value. Like I don't value Hampton that much higher than like a Judkins or a Travion Henderson that like I would take him in the first. Like I would rather just have one of them and get Jahdae Barron.
Fair enough. That is proper thinking, but after seeing, I think I wouldn't be shocked. Well, I would be shocked, but also wouldn't be if we did see maybe even 3 running backs go. Like, because these drafts never go how we expect them to.
No. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah.
Yeah. So Pittsburgh at 21. Jackson. No, I'm kidding.
Jeez. Never. I mean, I don't think that'd even be crazy for them. Like, I think that they might actually do that, which is wild.
Well, did you see who Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan had dinner with recently? I don't know if you saw that rumor.
No.
Take your best guess.
Jalen Milroe.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine?
Please,
if they
second round pick.
Pursue Justin Fields just to go get Jalen Milroe and plug him in.
He's like the same player, but way worse at like most things. he's probably a little bit more athletic, but like much worse at like everything else. So go for it. Yeah.
That would be sick. I would feel horrible for Steelers. I already feel horrible for him.
I don't at all.
Well, yeah, okay, do that. Mr. AFC North fan.
Yeah.
Wow, but this is an interesting spot for Pittsburgh because this is another team that you could say running back. I think you could get some offensive line help here, like with Josh Simmons still on the board. Like,
yeah,
that really wouldn't be the worst thing of all time, given the question marks with Broderick Jones and yeah, that guy's a mystery as we know right now. But Cam Hayward's like 38. This is a team that relies on their defense. I think, oh man, do I want to go into? I don't know. Josh Simmons is kind of calling my name right now.
Do it.
Oh man. Or do they just go full fuck it? Sign Aaron Rodgers and draft Luther Burden or Ibuka.
Luther Burden feels like a Pittsburgh. I mean, they even have the colors. Like he just, like, I don't know why he's just felt like a Steeler to me this whole time.
Oh boy.
I do like the receivers though. I do like how they are complementary to DK and Pickens. Like like McMillan would be like an F pick. Like that would be a terrible pick for them. But like someone like one of like the slot kind of guys, unless they view Roman Wilson as that. I don't know, but
didn't that guy like didn't get on the field because he couldn't learn the playbook or something?
Yeah, he didn't know the playbook apparently. Like he got hurt and then came back and didn't know the playbook, so he didn't get to play.
That's so bad. You're not even playing and you still can't find the time to fucking learn the playbook.
Yeah, allegedly. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna get sued, but yeah.
Oh man. Well, shit. Because then, I mean, you have an extra tackle. You could. Because Troy, you could throw inside too if you have to. Like McCormick was okay. I think McCormick was better than expected, but that didn't mean he was good.
Nope.
So, but then they also, I mean, they need a running back, but they can get that later, or they can just draft Jalen Milroe.
No, God.
I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go with Josh Simmons.
Okay.
I think
I think that'd be hard, but like I don't like Broderick Jones very much. So like I know some people want to give him a chance. I don't know, but I don't think he's that good. I think Josh Simmons is much better.
Well, coming off the
So
injury
I don't have a
too.
problem. Yeah,
That's
kind of
fine.
let him fester a little bit.
Yeah.
Chargers have an easy one for me. Got to be Matthew Golden. I think that they need
I thought you were gonna say Loveland for sure.
No. I love them. I think that I don't know. I think Matthew Golden is just so good that I love Loveland. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's worth, pick 22 at this point. Like I think he's good. I don't know if he's that high.
Yeah.
But I think Matthew Golden, like they need a receiver so bad that isn't Lad McConkey. It's so bad. So I love Matthew Golden for them. I think this late in the first round is really good value for him. And I think that he's putting up well over 1,000 yards multiple times with Herbert like that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, you would think a team that likes to run the ball a lot with the Greg Roman at OC would have 2 tight ends out there a lot, but they actually were dead last in 12 personnel usage. So, and I mean, Will Dissly had a pretty rough game in the playoffs, but outside of that, he was quite frankly sometimes their best, most productive receiving option. So he's decent enough to pass on.
Well, I think the second and third round tight ends, like you have Harold Fannin and Mason Taylor and Elijah Arroyo. Like at some point, like you'll get one of them in the second, and I think that having 2, like a receiver and a tight end, would be like imagine the Chargers leaving with Matthew Golden and Harold Fannin, or like Elijah Arroyo. That would be incredible.
Yeah.
So that's what we're banking on. We're banking on that.
Well, they didn't get TJ Watt, so
no, or Mark Andrews yet. It's yet. We don't know. Still plenty of football left.
Green Bay. What does Green Bay do? They made a desperate move for interior offensive line help this free agency, which was shocking to say the least. They have Jair Alexander, who doesn't really want to play for them anymore, but they also need help at edge rusher, but they also need a receiver. So this is kind of another one of those picks where you can just almost throw a dart at the board, and whoever you walk away with probably helps. But Malachi Starks, James Pierce, Mike Green. I mean, at some point these edge rushers got to go, but I still feel like I don't want to do it. My issue with taking a receiver, though, is that with Ibuka and Burden, I think Ibuka more so could be someone that plays outside. Burden is, as far as I know, literally he's just a slot guy, and that's what he's projected to be.
Pretty much, yeah.
So why would you draft someone that is a decent slot receiver when you have Jaden Reed, who you barely have on the field anyway? I would be more than comfortable just having him out there than wasting a first-round pick on a slot. So I think that would be malpractice. So that takes receiver off the board. I do think offensive line would make sense if they are this concerned about it. But, man, that leaves defensive back and offensive line. I mean, we can even... How old is Kenny Clark? He's not that old.
30, probably.
Yeah, he's not the oldest guy ever. Feels like edge rusher is really the move.
Okay.
But I just don't want to do it.
Do it.
I'm hate mocking right now.
I know.
It just doesn't feel like a Packers pick at all either.
No.
In the least. But it just makes the most sense right now.
I mean, they have Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness. Is that who we're running out there right now?
And I get fucking the names tonight. Kingsley
Enagbari. Yeah. I'm not sure I like him as my primary edge rusher, so I don't have a problem going edge rusher for them at all.
It's so gross, but I guess I'll do it. I don't like it. But I don't know.
We don't even know how much is true. There were reports that CJ Stroud was the dumbest human being to ever walk the face of the earth. And then he ends up actually being pretty smart and good. So they were he has the IQ of a 9-year-old.
That was the biggest smear campaign. Who paid for that?
He has the same reaction time as a bat. Everyone was freaking out. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then he's just a top 10 quarterback his rookie year. Yeah, who paid for that? Houston did. That's who paid for that.
Yeah, for real. Oh man, that's hilarious.
All right, well, I like that. James Pierce. All right. Minnesota. Theirs is interesting, but actually that's not that hard. You know how tempting it was though to put Buka on there?
Yeah.
But like imagine like Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and Buka.
They just signed Rondell Moore.
Yeah, unless you're Ohio State, that doesn't mean too much to you. But I'm gonna play the future a little bit. I'm gonna go Malachi Starks. That is going to be my eventual Harrison Smith replacement, as he likely retires after this season. I think that he can rotate in though, as like another free safety for them. So Malachi Starks definitely feels like my fit to them.
Yeah,
him and Flores together. Oh,
I think that's what I had. I think that's what I had too, and it just feels it feels good. Yeah,
he's too good.
It feels good.
People are sleeping.
Yeah, they are. I think he's a victim of draft fatigue. I would say a little bit.
He is absolutely.
That's the phrase, right?
Draft fatigue. Prospect fatigue. Yeah, like people are like, you've been good for too long, so people look at stuff to take you down on. But he's actually like a top 10 player on my board probably.
Yeah, he's been like king shit at the safety position for like the entire process until like these last like 2 months.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to Houston. Who? What will Houston do? I wonder. I mean, it has to be offensive line. Like it just has.
You would be attacked. If that would happen, like the people would drop like 8,000 pages eventually about what happened to you on Twitter if you didn't select an offensive lineman for this team.
Oh boy, Juice Scruggs. Oh my God, it's ugly. It's ugly. They did get Cam Robinson though.
Whoa, Cam Robinson. They got Ed Ingram. Who was like a bottom 10 PFF rated guard last season.
Yeah, it's literally.
I mean, who else do they have?
They have Titus Howard,
Jarrett Patterson.
Jarrett Patterson's their center projected.
Ew,
Fisher's their projected right tackle.
Oh my God, yeah, that's bad.
Fisher, oh my God,
he was eaten alive.
Yeah,
in the playoffs, he was eaten alive.
All right, well, yeah. The question though is, do I go with the I can play anywhere Gray Zabel? I thought his name was Gary up until like literally earlier today.
Greg Gary.
I can't read, but it's Gray or Tyler Booker. Yeah. I think they'll probably go Booker, but I really don't like Booker personally, so it's kind of like this.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Sometimes it's just like you got to do.
Yeah, I think Booker. I mean, the thing with, I guess if you bring in Booker, you can bump. I mean, Titus Howard's their projected left guard right now. You can bump him back out to tackle where he probably belongs. So, yeah, I think Tyler Booker. Oh man, a lot of what I read though about Gary, I'm calling him Gary. About Gary is very positive. Like a lot of positive Gary Zabel hype.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Gary Zabel it is.
Oh no, I took Tyler.
Oh, you took Tyler Booker?
Yeah, I took Booker. Yeah.
Shoot that guy. No, I'm kidding. He's a good prospect. I'm just not in love with him, but I mean that's what, 25?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that really at all. Shit. The Rams don't have a lot of holes on their team, really. Like at this point, you kind of got to look at quarterback a little bit. Then you look at Jackson Dart, and you're like, nah. I mean, you always could go interior O line. You could always add more defenders. Like that's literally never been a bad idea in the human history to add more defenders. But dang, I don't know. Who do they need? Let's take a look. Corner, tight end. I don't know. Corners available aren't my favorite at this point. I think you could get a little weird with it. You could go linebacker. But if we're just looking for Rams pick, I think I'm going to do a weird one here. I think I actually might go Colston Loveland.
Okay.
Like I don't think. I mean Tyler Higbee. I feel like he's had like multiple lower body injuries and he doesn't really do anything for them anymore.
Yeah.
So having just another across the middle piece for them, I feel like he would actually really open up their game a lot, having a good tight end.
I like it. I mean, with this board right now, I mean, it really feels like they could do whatever they want. We have a
I couldn't go
juicy
slot
board.
receiver. They have like they don't need that. Like I was
Right.
like, I don't know. And they don't need D line. They have plenty of D line.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I think you could. I think you could justify a slot though. I mean, they did re-sign Atwell, so
yeah,
that does
they don't have
indicate
any
like
outside guys. I'm like, I don't know who they like.
Yeah,
like I feel like Levlin was the only guy I was confident would probably start for them, like pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, outside of Verse and Byron Young, they really don't have much else.
Nothing crazy
rushing the quarterback. So I think I mean, I don't know if
they're just so young. I was like, I don't know if I want to like put a guy behind them when they're already like both like 24 or under.
Yeah. Oh man, Darius Alexander would be so fun there.
That would be. It's like behind like Kobe Turner and Puna Ford. And, like he'd be like the third one.
It's like an endless motor. It's an endless motor. Oh my god, that would be horrible. That would be awful to play against as an offensive line.
Would
just
be terrible.
Constant, just being attacked constantly. Oh yeah, but I think that's a good pick though. I when I was going through it, I saw some people mocking tight end. I'm like, yeah, but I also had Colston Loveland going before this too. So
yeah,
because of the Michigan lover.
I know.
I like it. All right. So I'll move to we got the Ravens now. Yeah, I mean,
there, but damn.
I mean, another team that I want to give. Well, Booker's gone. You could go Gary. We could go Gary.
We go Gary.
We could put Gary over there. I think. Like
Gray Zabel.
Gray. He's Gary now.
Is he going over? Who have they got? Are they putting Andrew Voorhees out there?
Yeah,
because they lost Patrick McCarry.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be putting. Yeah, I doubt Andrew Voorhees is their starting guard at the start of 2025 season. So, yeah, that makes sense. I think this is good value for him. He's a run blocker at heart, so that also would make sense. There is one pick that like I think would make them insane, but I don't know if they would do it.
It's got to be Mike Green.
It's Mike. I mean, like,
yeah,
that would be ridiculous on their team.
Like, I'm not going to overthink it.
I mean, I don't know if they have an issue with morals. I don't think Baltimore does.
No,
like,
they play criminal.
There's worse things than Baltimore. You've been to a Baltimore school, like only in Miller Grove.
Yeah, I don't think they have an issue employing criminals.
Damn, Lions. They could do anything. I mean, they don't have a lot of holes, though, is my problem.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really like Gray Zabel here.
Yeah.
I really like as like the Zeitler. I mean, even if they want to rock Mahogany, I don't think Glasgow's very good. I think he was just kind of hidden behind like 4 other all-star linemen. So I think either way, they can either upgrade at guard like a lot, or they can just replace Zeitler. But he's a beast of a run blocker and a great athlete, so I think he fits them perfectly.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mike Green there would have made sense. Mm-hmm. I think there's a conflict in like personality. You know, Dan Campbell, the guys he likes to have around. I think there could be conflict there, but at the same time, without him on the board, I don't think there's much of a question. This team is a trenches based team, so and they addressed their defensive backroom in free agency enough to where you don't have to address it in the first. So
yeah.
Receiver though, I saw some people talking about that.
I mean, they still need a third, right? Like, who do they have? Luke McCaffrey at their 3?
I didn't know they signed him.
Oh, I was talking about for Washington. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm talking about Detroit.
Oh no, Detroit. Yeah, I mean they got Tim Patrick back though.
Yeah,
your boy Tim Patrick. Comeback player of the year, Tim Patrick.
Oh yeah, he should have been. Who even got? I can't even remember who got it.
Joe Burrow.
Sure, whatever. Tim Patrick like tore his knee twice.
I know.
All right, Washington. This is a team that does need a third receiver. They have Noah Brown is kind of their third receiver.
Ugh.
But I don't know. They need edge rushing help so bad. But there's also like what's left.
Landon Jackson, if you're a big fan. Doesn't move me.
No, it doesn't move me either. And it's like They do need help on the interior defensive line, even though they brought in help. They do still need it. They would never do it, but it still is necessary. They need a defensive back, though. Like, they can't roll out Marshawn Lattimore with a straight face again. Like, oof. What's left, though? Trey Amos, Maxwell Harrison. I mean, maybe Harrison.
Dang.
Who's that nickel? Jonathan Jones. I didn't know they signed Jonathan Jones either. I missed a lot.
That's not a bad signing for them. Yeah.
No, it's not. So I guess that's enough. Man, I feel like edge rusher is the move, but at this point, like, what do they need? A running back?
Ooh. I mean, I do know Brian Robinson was like a possible trade candidate for them, or Eckler, like either one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, I think. Oh, this is tough. None of the guys that I had going here are there, so it's like, what do I do?
There's only one off the top of my head I do really like for them, maybe two. But it's a weird spot.
I almost feel like because of. I mean, I can't have Ibuka and Burden sitting here for any longer. It's stressing me out.
There is a rule I go by, and that is do not let Tyler Algier keep you from drafting Bijan Robinson. That is a rule of mine to keep in mind here, I think.
All right. Well,
it's not a running back rule by any means. It's just a player rule.
That's convincing. Ibuka, yeah, you are a commander.
Yeah, do not let Deebo Samuel keep you from drafting a guy that could be a top 15 pick. Like, if someone really wanted to, I would not think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just couldn't find a team that needed like a slot. And I don't really view Deebo as a slot. I think he's just a utility.
Mm-hmm.
But like a guy that genuinely like needs to run routes and create separation, that's Ibuka. And I think that they actually like do need that. So that's a great pick in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that leaves Buffalo with like a weird spot. Because Luther Bird would be fun, but he's like the exact same archetype as Khalil Shakir. Like, they run the exact same routes. Like, it would just be Luther Burden running the orbit on fourth down. It wouldn't be much of a difference. I would love Darius Alexander or Nolan, but like, I don't think that they are much of a help for them. Like, I think they still would need run defense.
Yeah.
As their D tackles, I don't think either of them are worth that here. I mean, we look at the list. At this point, I think Buffalo wants to have a little fun.
Give him to us.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope I know what you're talking about.
I think they want to have a little fun on defense.
Okay.
Give me like a tool, a weapon.
Okay.
I want to go Nicky Manwari.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. Get like
a
freak athlete. Like, they haven't had a DB like that in a while. Like, that could was just a freak athlete. I think that would be really fun. Toy around with them. See what happens.
Yes, I love it. That's like right now, that's probably my dream pick. My realistic dream selection.
Mine for them has been Derek Harmon, but he went like 20 spots ago. So I get like so I was like, who else? Like, I was like, what? Like, if somehow Kenneth Grant, like if they could get a run defending D tackle a million times over, like, but yeah, at that point, they don't really need a receiver that isn't Luther Burden. I don't know. I like Matthew Golden for them too a lot. But Manwari, best player available in my opinion.
I mean, I am of the opinion that although interior defensive line is a big need for Buffalo, the defensive backs are just so rough. Like,
yeah,
I think there is truth to the you don't need a good secondary when you're getting after the quarterback every play theory, but Buffalo doesn't even have a halfway decent secondary right now. Like,
they just invested so much into their defensive end room. They just got two guys that are suspended. I know that, but like,
right.
But like, yeah, I think there's so much good nose tackle value in the second. Like Alfred Collins, I would love on their team. Like, I don't know. I think having someone like Manwari that could theoretically be like a Derwin James type for them. Like, imagine him over DeMar Hamlin. Like, that would be so much fun. Ugh.
Yeah,
mock him. Send him in.
I love it. I'm so glad. I knew the second you said let's have some fun, I'm like, please. Nicky Manwari is my bill. All right, 31. That brings us to the big bad boys in red. Kansas City. I mean, speaking of Kansas City, I was listening to my local radio station earlier, and they were talking about teams in the AFC that are due for regression, and I think Kansas City tops that list.
Hmm?
And that's just nature because they had a
Yep.
15-win season that, quite frankly, shouldn't have happened for a lot of reasons, but it did. So they got to be due for it. With that said, they do need offensive line help. Their left guard situation is interesting.
Nick Algoretti, yeah,
like there's nothing fun about that line right now outside of like Creed Humphrey and I guess Trey Smith, but he's costing them an arm and a leg right now. So I don't know how fun that is. But defensively, they did bring in Christian Fulton, who I thought the Bills would have their eye on, but of course, every fucking time I think the Bills should go and get a defensive back, Kansas City swoops in and fucking takes them. It happens every time. I
did think about asking Casey if they wanted to trade back from Buffalo spot, but I felt like that would be sour.
Okay. All right.
We're going to get savior worthy.
All right.
Yes.
Well, oh, fuck. What do they do here? I mean, what do we got left? Offensive line, Connerly, Donovan
to
Jackson.
full note, I do think that Josh Connerly could make a great guard. I think he could.
Yeah.
So if that's a thing, I do think that could really happen. But yeah, I mean, Jackson Dart, send it.
Jackson Dart.
They need a back. They need Gardner Minshew's backup.
They always just have like the most ideal backup ever. I feel like the last 3 years they've had a decent backup. Well, I mean. There's just no studs. Like defensive line, I mean, they undoubtedly need help up there, but somehow they're always productive. They just might not look talented on paper, but they're always productive.
Yeah. Like Tershawn Wharton, who just went signed with the Panthers. Like, I hadn't actually even watched that much of him, like, all last year.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of just shows up, gets a ton of pressures without me knowing. And, like, I go back and watch the game, and I'm like, who's getting all these? It's just Chris Jones and him dominating.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I did not even know you existed like last year. So yeah, I mean, but he's gone. So that is a hole. Guard's a hole. They got, receiver. I mean, Rashee Rice might not play if he's suspended. Like they might still need a receiver.
Oh boy.
I don't
know. I think offensive line is the right pick, but I don't know. But the thing is, like, Kansas City's defense isn't really known to have. I want to go defensive line because it feels like a need, but it just doesn't seem like a pick they would make.
No.
At the same time, so offensive line though, on the other hand, does. All right, we're gonna go Josh Connerly.
I like that for them. Eagles. Ooh.
Darius.
I mean, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about Walter Nolan. I think Walter Nolan is like a Milton Williams. I actually comped him to Milton Williams like 2 months ago on my Instagram. So, but like they also do have a luxury of just having really good backups. So imagine Luther Burden on that offense.
Oh my God. Yeah, no more Jahan Dotson.
Oh my God. So I mean, actually between those three, but I am going to favor Darius Alexander to them. Like, I think that would just be too much fun. I don't know. Walter Nolan, I've heard a lot of bad things about his character. I don't know how much to believe about them. I just like Darius Alexander better for Philly. So I will do that. Luther Burden and Nolan will be like the two surprise drops to the second. That happened every year. And everyone's like, how did they fall? I think those are the guys this season. So
yeah,
Nolan and Burden fall out. Those are like the only surprises, really, I think.
Yeah, I think for the most part, we have, if we were to watch the first round over, I think we probably get 29 or so players that are actually first rounders in this.
Yeah, I think that they'll be like, I mean, barring like a Mike Green and James Pierce falling out for character concerns, maybe I could see Alexander not being a first, and I could see Zabel not being a first. But other than that, I think the rest of these guys are absolutely first rounders.
Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Maybe, I mean, no, it won't happen. I was going to say, who knows what happens with quarterback. I mean, there could be quarterback that jumps in. And
I was going to say, I'm happy you took Pittsburgh because I probably would have given them Dart.
What you have?
On pure predictiveness, they took Pickett. And Dart's a better prospect than Pickett was.
Yeah.
And they took him in the first. It is crazy, but he's better at like everything.
Wow.
Like he's bigger, probably as athletic, way better arm. Hands are bigger.
Well, that's a low bar. I mean, that's a pretty low bar. Well, there you have it. Cam Ward, Chidor, Travis, Abdul. I mean, I don't think. I mean, what's the biggest surprise here?
I think some of my bigger surprises was Derek Harmon and Kenneth Grant both going as high as they did.
Mm-hmm.
But D tackles always do that every year. And then I think that, some of the receivers falling, Igbuka and Luther Burden. But I think that's also just a product of like there being so many good depth receivers, like Jaden Higgins, Jack Betch, like Iomanner, guys that I think are really, really talented. Some teams might not be inclined to take a first rounder when they can get really good value in the second.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know. Like I think some people will look at a mock draft and be like, why would they take an edge here if they need a receiver badly? Like there's still a second round and a third round that like you find really good value in. So it's more important to take edge rushers now because there's not as many good ones in the draft. Like it's kind of that kind of mindset.
Mm. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, I think you highlighted the two biggest shocks for the most part. There are just so many guys that I look at and I'm like, he can either go 10 spots lower or 10 spots higher. Like I don't know what to feel of Josh Simmons. Like I do think he probably goes outside the top 20, but if a team feels so positive about his medicals, it's like he very easily is going top.
I could see
13.
him going as high as Miami.
Yeah.
I could see San Francisco taking him if they can flag his medicals well. It just, I don't know. I've only heard really good things. I've heard he healed up like Wolverine. Like he's doing great. He's moving great. But I don't know. We're just going to have to see, I guess. Yeah. I'm happy to not see like 5 running backs in here. I don't think that's necessary to get a Marion Hampton this early, but I do love him. I don't know. I feel like that's how an NFL draft looks. Like it's not exactly how you'd expect. A few guys rise, a few guys don't. Like that looks good to me.
I agree. I think there's going to be some bullshit. I just know it. There
always is. There's always something stupid. And every time I've ever produced a mock draft, everyone's like, there's no way the Commanders taking Buka, like something like that. I'm like, yeah, the Falcons just took Michael Penix.
Like, yeah, literally.
That, like people thought the Broncos getting Bo Nix was dumb. Like people graded that like a C every single time that I saw it. And he was putting up like legit really good numbers because sometimes a GM might know a little more than a fan. Sometimes, like so
yeah.
I think this looks like an actual draft would.
I agree. I like it a lot, barring, whatever trades. I mean, I just couldn't, my mind could not with this player pool. I just couldn't figure it out.
Dude, I was thinking about the only one that I actually wanted to pull was New Orleans moving up, trading Derek Carr, unloading that contract, trading up for Shador Sanders.
Wow.
I was like, that would be actually so interesting to like fully restart that with Kellen Moore. I'm like, that could be worth something, but I didn't have a whole lot after that.
Yeah, I was thinking the teams that I had highlighted for a trade back were, I had Denver in there. Feels like they're very well rounded. I had Pittsburgh even in there. I do think you could figure that out. Minnesota too. Those were kind of my big 3.
My big one was actually Carolina, and Vegas. Like it's 2 teams that pick top 10, but like they both have pretty clear needs, and there's like a ton of players that could go and fit those needs. So I'm like, they could just drop down to like 18 or something and get a slightly worse player, but much more value. I don't know. I like the way this looks though, actually a lot.
Yeah, same here. And when I was trying, like the top picks, of course, there are like I was trying to figure out where Cleveland can move back or Tennessee in that case. And I'm sure this is a stupid question. I would imagine you're familiar with like the draft value chart, like the picks and the value, like there's like a number value to the selections. And I mean, I don't think that's Bible, but I do think it's close enough. And
it matters. Yeah.
It's a lot. It costs a lot to move up that high. And I think that was
Yeah,
steering me
it does.
clear. Like it's a haul. Like people just think, oh yeah, just swap picks and throw a second in there. It's like that's not always enough, like at all.
No.
So, all right. Well, there you have it. I mean, I did want to briefly talk about some other stuff that happened today, like all the rule changes.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
we're at like an hour 5. Yeah, let's run a few.
so I wanted to get. I was hoping. I don't know if you saw my comment on my video, my response to your
Yes,
comment.
yeah, but I wasn't gonna respond to that because I was gonna let you do what you had to do.
So the Lions proposed a rule change that would alter the way playoff seeding works. So basically, a team that is a wild card team with a better record could be seeded higher than a division winner, which people were like defending. I think I don't think you need to touch it, period. I think how it is completely fine. Like this
Yeah,
is
I mean, it's not problems with it.
no. So it's just a weird thing to propose. I understand
Yeah,
the purpose. Like you want a team that was actually better to be seated higher, maybe seated the way you think they deserve to be seated. But at the same time, you're almost entirely devaluing the purpose of a division winner. And
Mhm.
I get they still get an automatic playoff bid, but in what world does it make sense that like a fourth, fifth, or like a fifth, sixth, or seventh seed, if it comes down to that, is an automatic playoff team? Like that doesn't like make sense to me.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it entirely depends on like what team you like and how good their division is. Because I'm playing like Pittsburgh and Baltimore for a total of 4 games, which are all dogfights. So I'm like, yeah, like I don't want that because like I have to deal with like the Ravens, and like even if my team puts up like 11 wins, could still be like a 2 or like second or third in the division, while like someone gets to play like Jacksonville and Tennessee and like Indianapolis for a total of 6 games a year. I'm like, that would be amazing. Yeah, I would never want that rule. I just want to automatically win my division at 10 games and get like the 3 or 4 seed. That would be beautiful. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not attached to divisions because like it depends. Like some teams are so benefited from playing in a bad division, like the Patriots forever, like during their dynasty, played in like the trashiest division possible and got 1 seeds like every single year. While like some teams, like you see with like the Bengals and the Steelers and the Ravens, are just dog fighting to like maybe even get into the playoffs. So it's like I don't need them, but I don't really see a reason to change it because it's not really causing many issues. It's like I'm cool with it, but I don't need it at all.
Yeah, that's how I felt. And at the same time, it's like if the whole purpose behind changing the process so that you are rewarding the actual good teams and you're hurting the worst teams, why would you still want the teams that are bad to get in at all then? Like aren't you trying to remove the bad and make sure the good gets a chance? So wouldn't you just get rid of divisions entirely and make it so the record is determining that? Like why would you want like it's like a half-assed change. It's like you're changing how this works, but only like 50% of the way. That's the way I see it.
I'm cool with change. Like I'm always down to make the game better, and I think it could make it better. It's just like I don't think it's given you a lot of problems. Like I think that as long as you're still getting in with a good record, like if you get 11 wins or 10 wins and you don't make it, that's kind of a problem for me. Like especially if a team that has less wins than you makes it over you, that's a problem. But if you're just being seeded worse, like kind of grow up and just play your game. Like you're gonna have to play those teams eventually. Just play your football game. Like it's not a huge deal. You should have won your division at that point. Like not that crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. It made no sense to me, and I literally was getting attacked in Twitter replies all day. I had to mute the conversation because I was getting like smoked by people like, that they still get an automatic playoff spot. It doesn't make divisions pointless. I'm like, thanks. You are the 27th person to tell me that in the last 10 minutes. I know, but it still doesn't make sense. And then of course I'm trying to rationalize with people, and you know how that goes. I wasted enough time of my day having this conversation with random people on Twitter.
I had that with a different rule change. I had a different one that I was more passionate about because that one I'm like, I mean, it's cool. Like, yeah, I'm not heated about the one that the Lions brought up at all. It's reasonable, but like I don't need it.
Mm. What were you passionate about then?
The tush push ban.
Yes.
Because I'm not a fucking baby. That's why.
Literally.
Like Joe Burrow and the Bengals do not run that play. Like it's not in our arsenal. They don't want Burrow getting hurt. It's not a thing that they do. But I still don't want it banned because that's dumb. Like you have Josh Allen that does it and he does it pretty well, but as you know, it can be stopped. KC defended it really, really well in their game. And that was like the determining factor in the game almost, was how well they stopped the play that was automatic. So if Josh Allen runs it probably second best, and he can be stopped, it sounds like you just can't stop Jalen Hurts. And maybe you should tell your quarterback to squat like 600 pounds because that's what he does and that's why it works.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a risk because your quarterback is being beaten to a pulp every time he runs that play by like guys like Vita Vea's size. So it's not like a no risk like play. Your quarterback can still fumble. Your quarterback can still get hurt. It's a football play. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and that's the weird part. Like, talk about being a bunch of bitches. That's what Green Bay is being right now.
Yes.
Like, trying to push this. And this isn't the first time. Like, we heard about this back, I think, the Combine. They were talking about the rumor leak that they were, trying to get rid of it. And it's like, if you want to take the angle of player safety, then fine. Like, guys like Jason Kelce have publicly said, that play sucks. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's not fun to run. It's not enjoyable. But there actually isn't even like data supporting injuries being directly tied to. I don't think anyone's actually gotten hurt from it yet.
Chris Jones, because he lined up sideways. That was his fault.
Yeah,
he lined up sideways and he got twisted to a pretzel, but that was his fault because he lined up sideways like a bear. Like, I don't know. I don't have a problem. I mean, I think I honest to God think their problem is that Jordan Love had the most embarrassing QB sneak in NFL history where he just fell forward without the ball. So I think that's the whole reason. I think they just want QB sneaks banned so they don't have to do that ever again because that was tragic.
Yeah, no, they just want it. I literally think the reason is because they feel like it's too good of a play. And that's also just so stupid after coming off of what we saw in the AFC Championship game.
I would agree if even 12 teams ran it well. If even half the league ran this play well and it was unstoppable, I'd be like, okay, maybe it's time to look at it. But there's 3 or 4 teams that run this play with any sort of efficiency. Like the Packers actually do run a variation of it. They put Tucker Kraft at tight end and they have him sneak and it works all the time. I got fantasy points from that. I know. So I don't know why they have a problem with it when they can run it too. Just do it better. Just do it the same way they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can use it to your advantage.
That's what I don't understand. It's why, what is it about this play? And it's weird that the Packers, maybe it is the whole Jordan Love thing. What's driving this from Green Bay to be this offended by this play?
I mean, if you've seen how bad that QB sneak was, I think you'd understand their embarrassment. That was so sad.
I don't think it was the Packers, but I think it was a former Packers quarterback. I think it was Deshaun Kaiser with the Browns. Ran a QB sneak without any timeouts. Do you remember this 2 or 3 years ago on Cleveland?
No.
He ran I think he audibled to a sneak. It was on his own 12. It just made no sense. It was the weirdest. No. It was the weirdest QB sneak call ever in history. And anytime I think of the Packers, and then I think of the tush push being banned and bad QB sneaks, that's what I think of. I gotta go find it. That was the one of the most puzzling plays I've ever witnessed. But no, we didn't miss any news. It doesn't look like. All right.
No, I thought Daniil Hunter got paid $36 million a year now, but
$36
whole dollars a year. Yeah.
All right. Well, that will wrap up the mock draft episode. The first iteration. Maybe we'll do a second. I mean, we'll definitely do an official one right before the draft and kind of staple down what we really think is going to happen individually. But for now, that's our first run of it. If you enjoyed, as always, feel free to subscribe, follow, share. Be sure you're checking out all of our socials down in the description. Be sure you're checking out our socials individually down in the description. And we will see you guys in the next one.